The country looks to get rid of fossil fuels and reduce our carbon footprint. Coming up, find out how government is making this a reality.
The government is well on its way to collecting $300 million in revenue. Find out from what? Coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Members of the public transportation industry outraged over the decision to be relocated from the downtown area. That story coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Reduction in the cost of electricity was high on the agenda during the Energy Summit in the United States. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson.
And I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. As government moves ahead with energy reform, there's a renewed focus on reducing the reliance on BEC through the use of renewables. Clint Watson has more from the summit in Washington and the CELAC conference in Costa Rica.
The goal is to move the Bahamas from its high usage and dependence on fossil fuels and begin using renewable energy. According to the Environment Minister, Ken Dorset, for 2030, they want at least 30% usage on renewable energy. The goal is also to lower the cost of electricity and fuel.
I had an opportunity to meet with the Chief of Staff of OPEC this evening, who had indicated that he looks forward to meeting with us in short order to discuss the Bahamas' involvement in the projects that we're advancing for the incorporation of renewable energy technologies in our energy.
Dorset says the Bahamas will advance its renewable energy policy quickly, having already amended the Electricity Act to incorporate renewables and the grid connection. The government is expected to outline the future of BEC now that this Energy Security Summit is over.
The reduction of the cost of electricity is something that is a burden for our citizens, a burden for people doing business, and something that we certainly want to see addressed in the shortest possible time. I'm certainly satisfied that whatever we do in terms of the BEC reform process will result in significantly reduced electricity costs for our people. But that's not just the end of it. We want to make sure that we also remove ourselves from a heavy reliance on the volatile fossil fuels and petroleum products that we use for the generation of electricity.
Minister Dorset says the concern is not generating the power, but storage of the power. The International Renewable Energy Association is expected to work with the Bahamas to address challenges like this. The Prime Minister's delegation are now in San Jose, Costa Rica, in Central America, where the nation's leader will address the opening ceremony today of the Central, Latin American, and Caribbean Countries Summit. Already, Financial Services Minister Hope Strawn has been in meetings ahead of the Prime Minister's arrival.
The meeting really was to deal with about 26 declarations, all of which relate to matters which are pertinent to the region and to CELAC as an organization. The declarations concerning issues like climate change, which is very important for us. There are issues concerning countries that have matters where they have embargoes against them.
The delegation returns home tonight. In Costa Rica, Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Clint. Despite heavy criticism from international credit agencies, a senior official tonight is expressing confidence that the government is well on its way to generate more than $300 million in revenue due to the implementation of value-added tax. Scieska Adderley has more.
A year from now, the government is expected to collect more than $300 million in revenue from the implementation of value-added tax on January 1st. Based on the initial response to compliance, Financial Secretary John Roll telling ZNS News Wednesday that it bodes well for the government's ability to recognize the revenue that's being projected for VAT.
When you look at what the IMF or a credit rating agency would have said going into this process, their estimate is that we're not going to see it in year one. I think our projections assume differently, and up to this point, we haven't seen anything to cause us to retreat from those projections.
To date, in excess of 5,000 businesses have registered for VAT, but as the registration process continues, Roll believes that number will top 6,000. The financial secretary explained that the most important part of VAT's introduction has been the number of businesses that have been registered, especially those that generate annual sales of more than $5 million.
The large and very large businesses will account for more than half of the revenue that the government collects. And that population represents well less than 1,000 businesses.
Now the value-added tax has been implemented, Rolls says larger businesses must now focus on filing their returns, and that process begins at the end of next month. Scieska, Adderley, ZNS Network News.
As Cable Bahamas seeks to increase the price of its basic package, IRCA stand in its way. The utilities regulator held a town meeting for the general public to hear their views. Jared Higgs was there.
Cable Bahamas wants to raise the price of its super basic package, also known as Rev TV Prime. Last night, Director of Policy and Regulation Stephen Barreau and other IRCA officials outlined a significant market provider's request.
CBL submitted 2 applications to IRCA, 7th of October 2014, 2 applications for approval under the pricing rules. The first is a proposed price increase for its Rev TV Prime product, or Super Basic, in which the residential services would increase, the price per month would increase from $30 to $38. So an increase of $8 or 27%. And commercial service would increase from the current price of $50 to $64 a month. Again, the same percentage increase.
This isn't the first time Cable Bahamas has made this application. IRCA rejected their request to raise the price, citing a failure to provide a universal service obligation. A proposed Rev Prime local package seeks to fulfill that requirement.
The Act, the Communications Act, when it puts this obligation on Cable Bahamas, says specifically that it must comprise at least 6 channels, one of which must be ZNS, and the parliamentary channel must be another.
The other options listed in Cable Bahamas' Prime local package are JCN, the Bahamas Christian Network, Caribbean and Latin American weather, and a PBS channel at a price of $10. IRCA officials were patient as citizens expressed their frustration with Cable Bahamas' services and the lack of options offered in the proposed Prime local package. Many noted the untimely nature of the requests given the recent introduction of value-added tax. Other audience members, such as Ashley Williams, offered a different view.
And I actually think that you should allow the increase. And I'm going to give you my reasons why, right? I think that cable TV is a dying technology. I think that people are buying Android boxes and Roku. I think that IPTV is going to give people a choice once it comes in the market. So I think that Bahamas need to realize that as consumers, you have the ability to choose.
The cost of a basic package at Cable Bahamas has been $30 since the company began offering TV services in 1995. IRCA now awaits the public's view on whether it's time to increase that package. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
A young boy is hospitalized following a traffic accident this morning.
Kickoff in a few hours. We'll tell you all about it coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.